Okay. One more announcement. Let's see. This is pick. What could this possibly be? Surely this isn't new Mario Rabbids, right? Oh? Oh. It's Donkey Kong. Okay. Pause. That was my reaction to watching the ending of the Nintendo Switch 2 Premiere Direct. Hell, ask Jeffrey, he was the one watching on his iPad at the back of the class when we both had creative writing. Anyway, yeah, more than 10 years and we finally get a new Donkey Kong game. So, why was I so meh?
Well, I'm glad you asked. It's cause I'm a fat chud loser.
I was just salty that it wasn't Mario. I mean, it's been 9 years since Odyssey came out. We've had generations of children bored into a world where Mario's latest 3D adventure is unironically half my age. I've graduated school, almost paid taxes, experienced emotional growth, lost emotional growth, and somehow we still don't have a new 3D Mario. And before you guys come at me, no, this doesn't count. The only DK games I've played are Country 1, 2, Country Returns, and Tropical Freeze. I'm not really sure if these count, but it's not like I wasn't already a fan. When I saw the Direct, I was like, meh, I might get this. But the more I actually looked at the game, the more I realized I was being unfair for absolutely no reason. Because this game genuinely looks sick. Like, Nintendo didn't just make another Donkey Kong game. They made a unique Odyssey-inspired game where you can break, well, almost anything. Also, this was made by the Odyssey team, so it had some serious promise. This dude punches through mountains now. He's built like a real titan. What the hell? Mario just jumps on turtles. Honestly, it kind of made sense that Nintendo would give DK the spotlight for once. The character's been weirdly dormant for years outside of remakes. Meanwhile, after the first Mario Bros. Movie came out, Donkey Kong suddenly became cool again to the general audiences. Seth Rogen's laugh alone probably gave this guy much more attention than he ever could have had just by releasing a new game. So, it's official. New Donkey Kong game, summer of 2025. And on July 17th, the game came out. Wait, I just realized if I show any more footage of this, Nintendo might copyright me, so... The game starts off on Ingot Isle, and at first, everything looks pretty normal. DK is chilling around the mines, while the workers are uncovering these glowing golden bananas called Banandian gems, aka the power moons of this game. You get the basic punching and smashing tutorial, and in classic fast-paced breakneck speed Nintendo fashion, everything goes wrong in about 5 minutes. We get introduced to the Void Company, or Voidco as they are called in the game, a corrupt mining organization whose deal is they want to drill into the underground layers beneath Ingot Isle trying to harvest these Banandium gems, and they clearly don't care what gets destroyed in the process. The second they show up, the game's atmosphere changes, and the game also starts. Sub-Layer 10, Ingot Isle Cave-In. This is the quote cap kingdom of this game. It's short, and you get introduced to Odd Rock. After you clear the cave, you dive down into the actual first area in the game, Sub-Layer 100, the Lagoon Layer. Yeah, unlike Odyssey, there's no kingdoms. It is quite literally layers of the earth, more and more underground, which I thought and still think is such a cool concept. I would honestly put some areas in this game over Odyssey. I don't care how much of a Mario Glazer you have to be to deny this, but the canyon layer, solo Sand Kingdom. It's time for the main plot of the game to unfold. Once Odd Rock becomes Pauline, wow, haha, cool twist, nobody saw this coming, she's on the fucking cover of the game, dog. She reveals to us that Void trapped her there because she has singing powers or something. Don't ask me why she's a kid here. I assume it's an Odyssey prequel. Well, I know it's an Odyssey prequel, but like, where does that lead in the DK timeline? Because Cranky was the one who kidnapped her in the OG game, and he's also old here, so it's a whole thing. Don't ask me. Instead of bringing her to the surface to bring Pauline home, they go down. Yep, that's the plot of the game. It's a race to the bottom, the core of the earth. First one there gets their wish granted via something called the Banandia route. And we got a wish to go back to the surface and get there before Void does. It generally nails the journey to the center of the earth feeling better than I expected. There's this constant sense that the planet itself is alive. Every layer has history behind it. You'll see ruins in the background and think, what the hell happened down here? And the game never fully explains it, which honestly makes it cooler. A perfect example of this is in the Feast layer. It had lions roaming around, but they went extinct along with the elders. Oh, elders. I'll talk about those later. And Pauline honestly surprised me too, because I expected her to just be the exposition character, but no. Not at all. She actually adds a lot to the game's vibe. Her singing powers, talent to the world itself, opening gates, dealing with weird void, tape, subtle foreshadowing, and also her tying directly into the game's main gimmick, besides the whole breaking stuff, the Bananza powers. The powers come from Pauline singing. Throughout the game, you unlock these giant transformations called Bananzas, where DK temporarily takes on a new absurd power form with completely different abilities. And I love that Nintendo didn't try making them elegant either. Every transformation looks ridiculous in the best way possible, and they're all so unique. Snake is useless and sucks. Kong is just the more powerful DK. Zebra has enhanced speed. Ostrich makes you fly. And Elephant, yeah, this is my favorite one by far. It's so satisfying watching a level just collapse as you're destroying it. You unlock these powers further down you go, and each animal gives you a different one. I don't think I mentioned this, but the Bananium gems in this game aren't even for the story. They're for the skill tree. So realistically, you can go the entire game without collecting any of them. Granted, I didn't do this. Hell, I have every single one of them. Jesus Christ, this took a long time. But it was worth it. Why? Because I love this game. These gems are similar to moons from Mario Odyssey. You get them in challenge rooms out in the open. You get the idea. Some areas have more than others. Really, each kingdom in Odyssey has a counterpart here. Cloud Kingdom is a junction in the Divide, and Lost Kingdom is Groove Layer, etc. There's this weird skip you can do that makes you skip the junction completely, which I find really cool, because the game shows you in the end with a line of dialogue that they knew you could do this. There is love put into every corner of this game. Almost everything feels interactive. Walls crumble apart, terrain breaks open, debris fly everywhere. It makes exploration feel way more natural because you're not just looking for obvious secrets. You're actually trying to tear the world apart to find them. And because DK himself is so heavy and physical, the movement here is amazing. It has a sense of heaviness to it. Every jump feels weighty, every punch shakes the screen, every slam attack looks like it caused a small earthquake. Nintendo absolutely nailed making DK feel powerful here. I was hooked on buying this game when Alex was driving us to lunch one day in high school, and I saw the specific game direct, and it highlighted what type of game this really was, and I was sold. By the way, the coolest part is that the transformations don't feel disconnected from level design. The environments are built around them. Once you unlock a new Bananza, you start noticing hidden roots everywhere. After the hilltop layer, where you meet the Fractone to appear in every layer after that, we get to my favorite layer in the game, sub-level 300, the Canyon layer. Instead of lush greenery or cave tunnels, everything opens up. Huge vertical cliff faces, cracked rock formations, abandoned mining structures, and wide open chasms that drop even further down into the depths. It also feels a lot more hostile than the lagoon layer. The platforms are more unstable and hazards are more frequent. The game starts expecting you to use your Bananza ability to break concrete, which is found a lot here. I say ability and not abilities because right now, you should just have Kong. And this section is huge. My guy, like, this is the Sand Kingdom of this game. It kind of sucks when you mark something on the map and it's just like, yeah, but I just stare at awe at areas like this because if we think about it, this is underground. This is underground. While this is all happening, Void is racing to the core of the earth and reach the root. And honestly, I didn't really explain these guys that well. At the top is Void Kong, the president and main brain of the operation. He's the one driving the entire plan to reach the planet core and take control of the Bananian route. He's very much the corporate villain CEO type of guy who treats the entire underground world like a resource extraction project. Most of the big decisions and story escalations trace back to him, and he's the one obsessed with getting to the core, no matter what it destroys. You fight this guy twice, once in the junction, which is a mini area similar to the Divide, and once, I'll save that for later. Then you got Grumpy Kong, who's basically the muscle and engineering side of Voidco. He's pretty dumb, but he's responsible for building the machinery we see throughout the game. If Void Kong is the planner, Grumpy's the one literally making all the destruction happen. He's less subtle with his schemes, more about build bigger drill, smash more rock, and rounding it out is Poppy Kong, who handles the intelligence and scouting. She's the more strategic member of the group, gathering information about the underground layers, Banana Energy, and DK's plans. She also has a bit more personality compared to the others, and depending on how far you get into the story, she's one of the members who actually starts questioning Void Code's directions. Just to be clear, these two are not evil. I repeat, they are not bad guys. They are employees. Once you beat them as bosses, they don't put up more of a fight because they are, quote, off the clock. I'm being so serious. I don't have any footage of it, but it's somewhere in the canyon layer. Grumpy says this. I think these guys are handled way better than the Brutals from Odyssey. They don't drive the plot forward at all. After you clear the Radiance layer, Pauline gets separated from you, and Poppy works alongside you to help you get through the Groove layer, and she also says she quit. So again, just an employee. Eventually you dive so far deep you reach the Forbidden layer, and face off with Void one last time. This layer is really unsettling. There's no kick-ass music like the Lagoon layer. It's just silence. You fight Void again, and honestly, this is a pretty difficult fight. And finally, have access to the Bananian route. If this wasn't spoiled for me, I would have lost my fucking mind. Yup, K. Rool is back in action, baby. Oh my god. So we were at Alex's crib the day before this game came out with Jeffrey and his girlfriend, and we were watching SMG4 on the TV because Jaden had to get caught in the weapons arc before the movie. And on the sidebar, we saw this video. So yeah. One day before the game came out, by the way. I'm so glad K.O.'s actually back. Having Void as a main villain for a DK game in like a decade would be so lame. And also bringing him back after all these years shows us that Donkey Kong, yeah, he's back to stay. And then you reach the final area of the game. Not a layer, the planet core. K. Rool has been trapped down here for the last 15 years, which explains why he wasn't in any new DK games. I'm sure it wasn't the only reason. But anyway, even the fractones here talk like this, because they haven't used their mouth in so long to speak to other people since, I mean, it's the planet core. I'm gonna get hate comments for saying this, but the world building for this goofy game is on par with something like Hyrule. I'm being so serious. Each layer has their own rules, customs, inhabitants. Like, I swear to God, they did such a fantastic job with this. Even the whole Kremlin crew is down here. The whole final boss is just it's just so. This fight is so good because it makes you use each of the Bananza forms to their absolute fullest potential. Kong Bananza helps you break stuff, Zebra helps you sprint, Ostrich helps you fly over the obstacles, and Elephant makes you cheese the whole fight. This is truly a test of everything you learned in this game. Hell, there's even one fake out ending when you think the fight is over, but K.O. comes back even worse. I'm so glad this part in particular wasn't spoiled for me because you actually go to New Donk City. Oh my god. I mean, you got your wish granted. You want to go back to the surface, and they did. Home at last. Nah, I almost got you there, didn't I? Yeah, this is the final fight, and it's pure spectacle. Did the people on the floor die? What? There was people here walking around, weren't they? Were they not? What the hell? They're just gone. Once K. Rool the Rot is defeated, New Donk returns back to normal, and I find it so funny because DK did all this for bananas. Anyway, that's it. A game that is a true love letter to all fans. Done. When I completed this game, I felt a weird sense of emptiness inside of me. I was hyping up this game for the coming weeks of summer, and I bet it. Boom. It felt strange. If I'm being honest, it felt like the way beating Mario Odyssey felt for the first time. I didn't know what to feel. What I did feel is that this was one of my favorite platformers of all time. However, no game is perfect, and say it with me now, this one is no exception. There aren't a lot of negatives because, oh my god, this game is just... I love this game. I love this game so much. What I mean, boss fights in the early game really were pushovers. They got really harder later in true Donkey Kong style. However, I know the early game bosses are supposed to be easy, but like, half of them are just a button spam. That really goes for all the Void bosses, to be honest. Speaking of them, Poppy and Grumpy went into business together to make their own mining company without the help of Void. They play a huge part in the post-game really. Just like Odyssey when you beat the game, the inhabitants of the other kingdoms, or in this case, layers, all come together and tour the other ones. Also, minor complaint, I'm actually editing this episode right now. The jump button in this game is switched from B to A, and it took me a long time to get used to it because B is used to punch downward, but maybe by like the divide, I got the hang of it. You can actually go to DK Island here. Hell, even Void turned a new leaf in a roguelike mode. However, it's DLC, and it's $30. Seriously, this could have just been post-game content. Hell, it came out a month after the game dropped, so it was clearly ready. It wasn't already clear. I didn't waste my money on this, but you got a pretty concise review of the game, so don't complain. Donkey Kong Bananza is a true love letter to all fans of video games, and this truly is a system seller, period. This is the kind of game that reminds you why people got excited for Nintendo in the first place. Not because the graphics are realistic or because the story is secretly Shakespeare or whatever, but because nobody else makes games with this much creativity packed into every second. When this got revealed, I was bitchy that it wasn't Mario. I came out thinking this might generally be one of the coolest directions Nintendo has ever taken one of their franchise in years. The layer concept is genius, the destruction mechanics are insanely satisfying, and the Bananza powers are ridiculous in the best way possible. But the best part about all this, Nintendo proved me wrong. What can I say? I got humbled. Donkey Kong Bananza was even my personal game of the year for 2025. Thank you, Nintendo. Well, time to waste my money on a $30 DLC that adds absolutely zero new Bananza gems to the game.